Welcome back to another week of Following Me Round as I try to manage an escape room business, a distillery and a house renovation project.
I just wanted to speak to someone from accounts just regarding an invoice that's outstanding.
Is not available to take your call. Please leave a message.
So I start the week in the office doing a bit of admin.
Yeah.
I'm trying to chase up an invoice that Black Sheep still owe me, struggling a bit getting hold of them. And then I get a call from a potential employee that's looking for a job at Code to Exit.
Still to go through yet, so we normally will work through those and then we'll invite a handful of people that we think are decent in to play a game. But I don't.
Also gives me a bit of time to catch up on some emails and get everything straight for the week, hopefully.
I've still got a chunk of.
I pack up the car and head down to the distillery. So I go around to my neighbour and collect this urn that he welded the handle back onto. Seems to have done a nice job. He didn't want any money for it, so I think it's quite a quick job for him. So I decided to take round a little bottle of rum as payment. And then we head over to the house renovation. We've got a few jobs to do there today. Now my main job for today is planing all the doors and putting the doors back on. So these were taken off when the decorator did his stuff. And he fitted a floor as well, which raised the floor level, so I need to plane down the doors just so they fit on properly and they do close. So once I've marked the line on the bottom to show how much to take off, I then just plane that down, get it nice and straight, and offer it back up. Just put a couple of screws in just to make sure it closes properly. So for this first one, it didn't close quite fully. So it didn't catch on the strike plate, so I'm just moving that strike plate over a little bit, and I've got to chisel out a little bit of wood just so it fits in there nice and flush. I also have this little tab inside the strike plate that you can bend out just to make it so the latch actually fits more snugly. And then once it's all good, I put the rest of the screws in the hinges. I then move on to the bathroom. So this floor level had come up quite a way because they put some tiles down. Just measuring it there, looks to be about 10mm, 12mm out. I was worried about taking the batten off the bottom of the door, but it looks like when the joiner originally fitted the doors, actually he'd already moved that. I don't know where that was, so I just cut that down a bit more, and that fit nicely as well. So that was done then for today. I head into town and we give this mobile app a test that we're just developing. On to Tuesday, and we are in the distillery today, so it's quite our regular distillery day. So John's there, he's starting bottling with some rum, and I'm doing a stock take today, so I'm just going through, making sure all the stock, whether it's in process or finished stock, is what I think it should be, and making sure my duty payments are up to date with HMRC. John's there onto labelling that rum that he's just bottled, and the still is running at the same time, so we've got some gin coming off there. Now sealing it with the heat shrinks. And today, actually, I had a bit of a problem. So a while ago, I have another company called Huddersfield Escape, and I set that up in COVID, or just before COVID, which was going to be a separate site to my original Huddersfield site. And then COVID happened, and in the end, I decided not actually to use that second company, so I shut down the original Stuck in the Riddle and just moved it over to the new site, which was a bigger site. But because I'd signed for the new site in the new company name, I had to pay my rent through that company. So I've been gradually paying my rent into one bank account so it can go off to a landlord from that bank account, and money has been accruing in there. So I've built up about £4,000 excess in that account. But now that my lease is renewed, I've signed it over to Stuck in the Riddle, which is the proper account that I should be using, and I dissolved my original Huddersfield Escape company. And I didn't realise that when I dissolved the company, that HMRC or the Treasury shut down that bank account, take the money out of it and send it to the Treasury. So I've effectively lost that money unless I either restore the company or I can apply for a discretionary grant to try and reclaim the money, which is what I am now trying to do. It's a bit annoying because they have a £3,000 cap on that you can claim back through the discretionary grant, which is the easier way of doing it. So effectively I'm going to lose £1,000. The other way of doing it is restoring the company, which can take months. You have to go through the courts, and the fees for that can be up to £1,000 anyway, so either way I'm kind of fairly screwed. I'm going to lose a load of money, so I just have to bite the bullet and get on with it. Annoyingly, to kind of file the forms, I've got to get some certified documents, which is what I'm trying to do. So I have to try and get hold of a solicitor that will sign to say that my documents are a true representation of the originals. Anyway, I also packed some orders. I measured these bottles that we're trying to list for sale to get rid of that I got in an auction, and then I pack up, turn off the lights and head home. So we're on to Wednesday, and in my hunt for certifying documents, I found out that the post office will certify them. So I head into my local post office, and it turns out that their stamp actually only goes up to 2025, and they don't have a new one yet, so they couldn't do it. I have to leave there. I then head over towards Manchester to go meet James. Go for the camera.
Film me again.
And he's just given me the rest of the market stock that he's been using last year, so I need to collect that and bring it back.
To the O2 messaging service. The person you are calling is unable.
I also tried to get hold of another customer there just to chase up some more money. They don't answer, unfortunately. They do give me a call later on in the day, send me a little bit more of their debt that they owe me. I head back over to the house. I'm meant to be meeting the electrician there who's got the key to get in. He's up there in the loft trying to fix the lights, and there he is down fitting the new nice consumer unit. Then head back over to the distillery and we start unloading all the stock that I got from James. Couldn't be bothered sorting it all out now, so it was just a case of dumping it all, leaving it for another week. Now I could tell from unpacking this that some of it was a bit of a mess, so I was going to have to go through it all. Because James doesn't really use the boxes, he kind of lumps them together. Some of the labels do get damaged, which just means that I need to check which ones are good and bad, and rebottle the ones that are damaged, which unfortunately cost me a bit of money. I then lock up and head home. Gives me a little bit of time just to make a cup of tea and do a bit of paperwork. Again, catch up with a few emails, make sure I'm on top of things. So I do actually go through a spreadsheet of customers that I've got for the gin. And write some comments on there just because we've got this new sales rep that's starting, and I need to fill him in on who we should be chasing and what for. And into Thursday. So again, we start the day with a bit more paperwork, just catching up with things. Then I load up the car and head into town. So I am again on the hunt to try to certify some documents. So I go to the big post office in the middle of town. Whilst I'm down there, I decide to go into stuck in the Riddle because I need to print off my ID for them to sign. I decide to do a few repairs. I need to pick up these cracker games that I tried to sell before Christmas and take them down to Derby next week. And because I've not used this printer and scanner for quite a while, I spend about half an hour just trying to reconnect that and trying to make it work. Once that's installing, I go drop off these padlocks and I head into cabin. This is one of our games. We use these coat hooks for one of the puzzles, and they are quite cheap and flimsy, so they do get bent a bit. So I decided to get some thicker, heavier duty, full-on metal ones, and I swap all those over just so they're a lot more sturdy, and staff don't have to replace them, and they don't have to get broken in games and hurt anyone or anything like that. So I finally get these documents working. I scan my utility bill and bank statement, stuff like that, print them off. I head into this jeweller's. I've got a ring that I'm getting repaired. And then this is me coming out of the post office after I finally got my documents certified. To head back into work then and get those scanned, and I pack up these cracker games then, put them in the big box and head up to the renovation house. So today's job is to plane another door at this door that I didn't finish last week. It's one that I put on quite a while ago just to get it out of the way so it didn't get damaged or knocked over or anything like that. And because the floor's been fitted, then it meant that the door was too long and just needed cutting down a bit more so that it could open fully. So at the minute it's getting caught on that floor. So it's the same as the others, I just mark on the door whereabouts I need to cut to. And I prop it up with these stands. And I use this electric plane just to take it off to that black line that you can see there on the door. Once it's cut down, then I just screw it back in place, make sure it opens and closes properly. And then this is the new consumer unit that's been fitted. So I turned the power off because I got a bit more time to do a few more jobs. I had a couple of sockets and switches that I couldn't fix last time, but when the electrician came, he sorted it out. So there was a bolt in this switch that I couldn't get out, but he managed to get it out. And then I've got a few of the sockets. I didn't do any in this utility room last time, so I'm just swapping those out. I've got this double socket here. I've got a light switch to swap over and another double socket as well. So I just take about half an hour to swap those over. Just knocking all the rubbish there that's in the back box from when he did the plastering. This one was a little bit tight because the wires were really short, so it's quite tricky to connect this one. Putting on the nice new faceplate there. There's some big gaps behind the faceplates, just from where the plaster is not properly going up to the edge of it. So at some point I need to go around and fill all those as well, just so they're nice and flush to where it is. Give them a test just to make sure they work. Ah, yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
Just after a last minute game or a 6:30 game for tonight, just wonder if you were free for it. Get a call there about a last minute game, so I was trying to sort that out as well. I then head back home. I have to stop at Screwfix just to pick up a few bits. And I also got a letter from HMRC saying they were going to revoke my alcohol licence because I'd not filled in this new system that they set up. Although the guidance said that actually I didn't need to use that system because I use a different system. So I then panic and have to try and get hold of HMRC to find out what's going on.
HMRC. Okay. If you're an employer calling about pay as you earn, press 1. For corporation.
Unfortunately, I'm just on hold for about an hour, and then by the time I probably get close to getting through, the lines are closed, so I have to then try again the next day. It's Friday, and I carry on from yesterday trying to get hold of HMRC, find out what's happening. I also speak to this new sales rep and go through all the customers that I've pulled out for him to chase, just go through who they are and what we kind of done with them previously, and how we might be able to approach them. I then get packed up and head over to the renovation house again. You can tell it's cold today because I'm wearing a hat, which I don't normally do. Start off just by giving everything a good clean. Don't like it building up too much, and then load all my tools in. Turn the power off. I got one of these fuse spurs to change upstairs. So again, one of the problems I had when the electrician came was that the plug socket in the small bedroom didn't work, and he figured out that this fuse spur actually goes off to that socket, which is strange. He was confused why they put it there, but it's quite a nice easy fix. Once I knew that, I changed that up to a nice new faceplate as well. This was another socket that we had a problem with, because there wasn't a lug on one side for me to be able to screw the bolt into, so he suggested a way of screwing into the back box and then threading that, so I've got something for the bolt to grab onto, which worked great. I then move on to fixing the sink in place, and firstly I need to seal the edges of the worktop that I've cut out, just so if any water gets down there it doesn't damage anything. Previously used silicone to do this, but I didn't have any, I forgot to get some, so I've used some more nails type adhesive, so I'm hoping that works as well. I then go take the sink. I've got to put some foam strip around the edge of it and put these little clips on. Probably the most annoying thing to try and screw into. They're quite flimsy, they don't really grip onto the sink that well. Managed to get them all on so it's nice and secure, and then put that little blanking plate on for the hole for the tap, which I won't be using. So I put it on the other side. So I want to fill in the gaps of the edges of the units, so I use these little filler panels. Firstly, I'm just cutting a little support to put behind it, so I've got something I can glue the filler panels onto. So this is the filler panel which I need to now measure and cut to the right width. I like to make it nice and tight so it sits in there fairly securely. It's a little bit oversized, so I just mark it on and trim it down a bit more. And I'll trim my other piece as well. Trim a little bit of waste strip, just so I can get the right depth when I put the support behind it. So here I am with my little bit that I've trimmed off. And it just helps get it so I can get it flush now at the front. And I can hold my support in place and screw it in. Once that support's in place, I then put some glue on it, and I put in my filler piece that I've now put in. Then measure up for the top units. These are a little bit wider. Take a few measurements from top to bottom, just because the walls are not straight. I'll try and mark it so that it fits nicely first time. This one wasn't too bad. I do the same for this top one. I put a bit of support behind it. We also need to put a bit top and bottom as well, just so there's no big gaping hole or anything from above or below. And putting the supports on at the top. It's getting fairly close to the end of the day, so I decide to pack up and go home. And that is the end of another week, so thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.